Hey man, ACA here with another informational, educational, hopefully entertaining video on firearms maintenance, design, and repair. At least until the masters of the universe at Google decide to take us down. You know, those people give all their attention to the third world scumbags. That's right. They give those third world scumbags all the advertising they could stand. They don't throttle their channel. Unlike the American channels, the Americana, gun rights, the gun channels, they throttle us. They hate us. They hate Americans. They hate their own people. There's a reckoning coming, and they're not gonna like what's gonna happen. Today, we're gonna be looking at range. Range is the alignment of the chamber to the bore. And it's at least as important as yoke alignment. You folks remember yoke alignment, right? Where we went through and we kind of took our lead babbitt and we're bashing it and people were saying, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Most of the time, the leading cause of shaving, you know, lead shaving, when you're shooting and all of a sudden you got pieces of lead shooting out the sides and the people at the range next to you at the right and the left lanes are screaming in pain, grabbing their face because their faces are getting torn off by your 1,000 grains of your 500 grain bullet going 1,000,000 miles a second. Well, all right, maybe that's a little bit of exaggeration, but lead shaving is caused by range, improper range. That's improper bore to cylinder alignment every time you cock the gun to shoot. But Manny, why do I need range rods to ensure spec and revolvers? Allow me to elucidate if I may. Let's say Joe Bob down at the Acme gun plant is assembling your soon-to-be newest pride and joy. Unfortunately for you, it's Friday afternoon and Joe Bob needs to make sure the front sight on your newly installed barrel is top dead center. That means it's at 12 o'clock before he leaves for the weekend. It's not. So he sets the barrel back and tries it again. Setting the barrel back, by the way, is where you come back through here and you cut just a little bit. That way you can push it back. That way this comes up. Also, unfortunately for you, Joe Bob can't seem to get his mind off of Maria, the chick he met last week and who he has a date with later on tonight. So he takes your new revolver, you know, the one that you've decided was gonna be your new cast bullet sweetheart, the one you're gonna spend so long casting and lubing and sizing each and every bullet. He decides he doesn't want to go back and set the barrel back again. So then he takes it and he just wrenches it on. That way he doesn't have to worry about going back and recutting the forcing cone and setting the cylinder gap correctly. And oh boy, look at that. The front sight is now at 12 o'clock. Time for a cold one. He can almost taste Maria. And Joe Bob just cost you 100 or so more rounds impregnated with valve grinding compound that you're gonna need to shoot through your tack driver just to remove what's known as thread choke. Not to mention the untold hours of heartache while you're trying to figure out why this thing shoots jacketed bullets just fine, but cast bullets not for a darn sight. Once again, we like to remind you that these are production gun people. Thread choke is a thing. And what he did was he went back here and he took this and he pushed this into the frame, and the frame gave 0.5 thousandths to 1 thousandth of an inch of constriction on your barrel now. So now you've got a tight spot right here. So they'll be functional when they come out of the factory and they'll be safe, but being accurate is another story, which is entirely up to you. With the range rod for your specific caliber, this one's set at 357. What this does is it ensures continuity. That means it's the same size all the way down your bore to your chambers, and it makes sure you don't have the dreaded choke. So push it all the way down. Look at that. Goes straight through. It should fall on its own volition. And before you guys freak out on me, yes, I understand it's a steel barrel with a steel rod. You go slow, you'll be fine. Trust me on this. As long as it drops without any issues on your single action guns, you're good to go. And that's about all you can do on single actions. For now, that's about as deep as this video is gonna go into. Now we're gonna check our double actions, which is where range really comes into play. When the cylinder is closed, the yoke, you guys remember the yoke, right? The yoke is right here, is bearing against the frame. And if it's in spec when the rear cylinder pin latch would bear on the front yoke against the frame, you're all fine. It's gravy. You don't have to worry about it. If at that point when the cylinder is indexed up though, the chamber is aligned with the bore and the gun is in range. If it's not, then it needs to be addressed. This is where you got to buy some tools, the aforementioned range rod. Range rods are indispensable when checking out revolvers and whether they're in spec. It's good to bring one of these along with you when you're at the gun show or somebody wants to sell you a revolver just in case. You could check the gun out and see, does it have any throat choke? How does it line up? How does the cylinder to bore line up? Well, these right here will tell you. Unfortunately, there's no one online that shows you how to use these darn things. And I don't know why the gunsmiths are keeping a secret, kind of like Michael Avenatti with his porn star client? Maybe they're just too ashamed to say it? Because it's so easy. Yeah, so easy. Get it? You see what I did there? So easy. Stormy Daniels, Michael Avenatti, easy. My humor's wasted on you people. Like we said, range rods are great. Use the rod in the shooting position with the hammer down and the trigger pulled. Oh, make sure the gun's unloaded, people. You're gonna insert the rod, gently push in the direction. You'll hear a tick. Proceed to check each chamber. You're going all the way down to here, to the back of the cylinder. I think that's all of them. Yeah, this gun has no issues with this cylinder to bore lock. You see that the alignment is perfect on this gun, but we really haven't shot this one all that much. Now we've got our beloved Smith & Wesson 686. Yes, you folks have seen this, you love it. I've been yelled at about it because I pry the side plate off. And I'll ask you guys again, how many side plates have you warped by prying it off? What's that? Huh? That's what I thought. Pull. Oh, did you hear that? That's a tick. That means that the cylinders are not lining up to the bore just right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no. 6, no. Okay, so we have tick on 4 out of 6 cylinders. What does that mean? That means that our bore is not being lined up to 4 of those cylinders. For some reason, they're going out. On double action revolvers, range is very important, usually because they get shot a lot, and usually they're in larger calibers. So they tend to run out of spec quicker. Before we do anything else, we need to make sure that the yoke is aligned. You guys saw our video. Make sure that your yoke is properly aligned. That way we could rule that out of the equation. And then we also have to make sure that the gun is timed correctly. So we can rule out those 2 options. Remember, we're doing a diagnosis here. We go step by step. If both of those are correct, then we have to deduce that the cylinder to bore is out because of range. We need to move the chambers in a direction to align them to the bore. Once you've determined that your gun is indeed not centered, you gotta figure out which way it's not centered. Insert your range rod, cock the gun, and then I like to start pushing it to the left with your fingers gently. You don't gotta He-Man it. So push to the left. There you go. You hear that? Okay. Okay, to the left, gently to the left. 2, 4, that was 4, is 5. Okay, see, so by pushing them to the left, we found that we got tick on 4 of the 6 cylinders. 4 of them are off too far to the left. What does that tell you? It tells you we gotta move them back to the right. How do we do that? So we're moving over to the left. Let's try one more thing. Let's try and see if any of them are over to the right. Same thing, only we're pushing the cylinder this way to the right, lightly. No tick. No tick. 3, 4, 5, 6. That is very common with Smith & Wessons because you see where the hand is. The hand is well, there we go. You see where the hand is. The hand is constantly pushing the revolver out of range, out of time. It's pushing it toward the opening of the cylinder. That's where Smith & Wessons and Colts are different. Colts, because they turn clockwise, they're not pushing against the opening of the yoke or the crane. They're pushing against it. So they tend to time each other up. We found that the chambers are to the left. We need to align it by striking the left side of the frame. So remove your cylinder, which we so conveniently had done. Strike this part of the frame right here. I know everybody freaks out when they see this. And here we have our friendly lead bars once again. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna tap it. Since they're over to the left, we wanna move the barrel over and the cylinder over. We're gonna take and we're gonna tap it right here, right where the yoke bears against the frame. Now, if it's over too far, this won't work. And you have to use a press. I like to make sure that we don't have any binding. And we don't, which is good. And 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, 3. Okay, now we looks like we've only got tick on 3 of the 3, which is good. So let's do it again. And this is how you do this process, people. Slow and low. Let yourself go. That is the tempo. And no, that's not just a Beastie Boy song. Again, we're gonna take it and we're gonna strike it right here. What we're doing is we're barely flexing it. Don't be scared, people. I know, it's dramatic. You guys think I'm some kind of beast, uncultured. Oh my God, what's he doing? All right, so again, we're gonna check and make sure Revolver is free. Look at that, beautiful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like lead because it doesn't mar the gun. Remember, stainless guns are a lot softer than regular blued guns. I don't know why people tend to think that they're not. Okay, well, these cylinders were off more than I thought, so we had to move this to the ground because the bench wasn't taking it. We're taking it and we're doing it little by little. We were off 4, now we're only off 2 cylinders. We're supporting the barrel right here, the bore, right here, the barrel, and we're supporting the underside right here. So right here, this is how we're holding it. And what we're doing is flexing the middle of where the yoke is. You can see right here. And I've got my assistant Chuck. He's gonna make sure that this thing doesn't slip. Hold that. This is what happens when you don't have a press. So I'm just taking a sledge here and we're just kind of, you could say we're beating the gun into submission. And you'd be right. Couple of hits, we're gonna test it. If it doesn't work out, we're coming back. All right, this thing was really off. I mean, really off. There was 4 that were total ticking. Now we got 2 ticking. And it's doing, I mean, this is why you need a press. I'm doing about 5 or 6 good whacks. And you can see how we're whacking it. We've made an indentation in our lead. All right, nothing like doing it on the ground, guys. Reassemble. Nothing. Nothing. 3, nothing. 4, nothing. 5, nothing. 6, nothing. Oh, I'll see you guys back at the bench. Don't be scared. Now let's check it one more time. Remember, it was ticking on 4 of 6 cylinders. 1, no tick. 2, no tick. 3, no tick. 4, no tick. 5, no tick. 6, no tick. There were 4 cylinders out of alignment out of 6. And then after a couple of hits, it got to 2. There were 2 that were really stubborn, really out of line. You saw we had to get down on the ground and we had to literally pound it. I know it's scary. It's scary. What do you want me to say? Heck, I was scared. We had to get on the ground, and since we don't have a 6-ton arbor press, And I wasn't about to go over to Harbor Freight and spend some money. We just used our, I think this is like a 10-pound sledge. Oh! And of course, we had Chuck, who was giving us a hand. But you know what? If you don't do it, are you going to shoot with a misaligned gun? You're supporting under the barrel, right here, and you're supporting under the bottom of the frame right here. And what we're doing is you're flexing this portion of the frame right in here. We're flexing it. Yeah, you're bending it. You're bending the gun to shoot correctly and to time up. This is not some black magic. This is not something that you can't do. We just showed you how to do it. Grow a pair and try it. It's fun. And if you ruin the gun, guess what? You can always send it back to the manufacturer and they'll fix it for you. Questions, comments, or any hate mail goes on the bottom. Have fun, be safe, do your own work. Till next time.